Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have to tell you, looking at the situation in Port Charles right now just makes my heart incredibly heavy, especially when it comes to our dear Anna Devane. You know, I have watched this woman face down some of the most dangerous villains in the entire world, always standing tall with that fierce, unyielding determination of hers. She has always been the rock, the one we all look up to when things get tough. But right now, something is deeply and terribly broken inside her. It is like watching a beautiful, sturdy oak tree that looks perfectly fine on the outside, but you just know the roots are struggling beneath the soil. The truth is, Anna is not okay, not by a long shot. She is walking around carrying a burden that is entirely invisible to the naked eye, but it is weighing her down more than any physical injury ever could. She managed to get herself released from that medical clinic over in France. And it just breaks my heart to think about how she actually did it. She faked her recovery. She put on a brave face, smiled at those doctors, and pretended that the darkness in her mind had completely lifted. She did all of this simply because she was terrified that if she did not put on that act, they would never, ever let her go home. It is a heartbreaking reality, realizing that she is walking around our familiar streets carrying a burden so heavy that it could crush her at any given moment. She is pretending to be whole, but inside, she is still fighting a war that nobody else can see. But you cannot fool everyone, can you? As the old saying goes, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it is still a pig. In Anna's case, she can put on the bravest smile in the world, but she cannot hide the cracks from someone who has known her soul for as long as Valentin has. Valentin has this incredible, almost supernatural intuition when it comes to Anna. He has loved her, fought with her, and watched her through so many different seasons of life. When I saw him look at her recently, I could see the wheels turning in his head. He knows, as sure as the sun rises in the east, that something is terribly off. He cannot quite put his finger on the exact medical term, but his gut is screaming that the woman standing before him is still trapped in a nightmare. The tension really bubbled up to the surface when Anna suddenly snapped at him out of the blue. She came at him out of nowhere, her temper flaring up like a struck match in a dry barn. She needed his help with something, and instead of just asking like she normally would, she went right for the jugular about his assets being cleared by the WSB. She told him plain as day that if the WSB cleared his assets, it certainly did not come without a hefty price tag. Now, normally, Anna might be sharp and witty, but this was entirely different. This was erratic. It was the kind of lashing out that comes from a person who is drowning and just thrashing at the water, trying to find something to hold on to. I watched that moment and thought, goodness gracious, she is losing her grip on reality. And then things took a turn for the bizarre and the tragic. Imagine walking into a room and seeing the man who has always been your safety net kissing someone else. Anna saw Valentin and Carly Spencer sharing an intimate kiss. Now, under normal circumstances, that would be a little awkward, maybe a bit painful for an ex to witness. But for Anna, in her incredibly fragile state of mind, it was the trigger that opened the very gates of hell. Because she was not just watching them, she was being actively tormented by a ghost. Peter August. Yes, Peter is dead and gone, but in Anna's mind, he is as real as you and me. He is a hallucination, a dark shadow clinging to her every step, and let me tell you, it gave me the absolute chills to witness it. This hallucination of Peter August is not just standing quietly in the corner. He is right up in her face. He is leaning in, whispering his toxic poison directly into her ear. When Anna saw Valentin and Carly, Peter used that moment to mock her mercilessly. He taunted her, his voice dripping with that familiar, sickening smugness, telling her that Valentin is clearly way too busy with his new girlfriend to ever bother helping her with anything. He is planting these seeds of absolute isolation in her mind. He is making her feel like she is completely alone in the world, abandoned by the very people who used to protect her. It is a classic psychological torture tactic. And seeing it play out inside the mind of someone as strong as Anna is just devastating. You really have to trace all this back to the root of the nightmare, which is what Ross Cullum did to her. That man did not just hurt Anna physically, he systematically dismantled her mind. He played these sick psychological games, pumped her full of drugs, and terrorized her in ways that are hard for a decent person to even talk about. I remember when Valentin first found out the extent of what had been done to her. He had tears in his eyes, his voice breaking as he realized that they had completely ruined her. That thought just echoes in my mind. They took one of the brightest, strongest women we know and shattered her psyche into a million little pieces. The Anna we are seeing now is the tragic aftermath of that horrific, unforgivable abuse. And speaking of the ghosts of the past, we absolutely cannot talk about Anna's trauma without bringing up the devil himself, César Faison. Faison put Anna through a literal hell on earth for decades. His obsession, his cruelty, the sheer terror he inflicted on her life, it is a miracle she survived him at all. And by the way, when I say he put her through hell, I am not talking about some minor inconvenience like what happened with Tracy Quartermain's horse. I am talking about deep, soul-scarring trauma that changes a person at their very core. Faison was a monster who delighted in causing Anna pain, and even though he is gone, his legacy is still haunting her, manifesting right now through this terrifying hallucination of Peter. This brings us to the most dangerous part of this whole situation, and the reason my heart is constantly in my throat. Peter is not just mocking Anna about Valentin. He is giving her a mission, a twisted, incredibly dangerous mission. He keeps whispering to her over and over again that Britt Westbourne is a threat. He is telling Anna that she has to eliminate Britt. And why? Simply because Britt is a Faison. Peter is convincing Anna's fractured mind that all Faisons are exactly the same, that they are all inherently evil and dangerous, and because Britt shares that bloodline, she must be destroyed. It is a horrifying leap of logic, but to a mind that has been drugged and brainwashed, it makes perfect, terrifying sense. Poor Britt. She is just out there trying to live her life, completely unaware that there is a massive target being painted on her back by a woman who is losing her grip on reality. Britt has worked so incredibly hard to distance herself from the sins of her father. She is not Caesar Faison, and she certainly does not deserve to pay the price for the trauma he caused Anna. But in Anna's current state, driven by the phantom voice of Peter August, Britt is just a symbol of all her past suffering. It is a ticking time bomb, and I'm sitting here on the edge of my seat wondering who is going to step in before Anna does something she will regret for the rest of her life. Someone has to save Britt from Anna, but more importantly, someone has to save Anna from herself. If there is anyone on God's green earth who can pull Anna back from the brink, it is Valentin Cassadine. He has the knowledge, he has the intuition, and he has the deep-seated care required to navigate the absolute minefield of Anna's mind. He knows what makes her tick better than anyone else. But his hands are tied in a very complicated way right now. He wants to help her. He really does. He plans to keep in touch with her, to check in on her from time to time, maybe even frequently. But he has to walk a very fine line. He is deeply involved with Carly now, and the absolute last thing he wants to do is give Anna any false hope of a romantic reconciliation. It is a tricky spot for a man to be in, I tell you what. If Valentin was not so deeply entangled with Carly, things might be entirely different. He might just drop everything and devote every waking second to bringing Anna back to the light. But life is messy, and timing is everything. He has to be careful not to send the wrong message to Anna, and he also has to respect his current relationship. Surprisingly enough, Carly has been remarkably mature about the whole thing. When Anna crashed their date, Carly did not bat an eyelash. She did not throw a fit or get jealous. She seems to understand that the history between Valentin and Anna is profound, but it is not necessarily a threat to what she and Valentin have right now. If Carly can just hold on to that grace, if she can truly realize that Valentin's desire to help Anna is about saving a human life and not rekindling an old flame, then she will be perfectly fine with him stepping up. It takes a strong woman to let her man help his ex, but Carly is nothing if not strong. Valentin just needs the space to do what he does best, which is protect the people he cares about. He knows Anna's slipping away. He can see the shadow of Peter August in her eyes, even if he cannot see the hallucination himself. He feels the cold chill of Ross Cullum's brainwashing lingering in her sudden bursts of anger. I find myself praying that Valentin acts quickly, because every single time Peter whispers in Anna's ear, the danger grows exponentially. The idea that Anna Devane a hero to so many of us, could be manipulated into harming an innocent woman like Britt Westbourne is just too tragic to accept. Valentin has to piece this puzzle together. He has to realize that her erratic behavior, her sudden anger over his WSB assets, and her strange demeanor are all symptoms of a mind that was broken and never properly put back together. Watching this story unfold, I cannot help but feel a deep sense of empathy for everyone involved. It is a stark reminder of how fragile the human mind can be, no matter how tough the exterior looks. We all wear masks sometimes, pretending we are fine when we are falling apart inside, just like Anna did at that clinic. But true friends, the ones who really see us, like Valentin sees Anna, they look past the mask. They see the pain. I just hope his vision is clear enough and his actions are fast enough to stop a tragedy. Because if Peter's ghost wins, the devastation will tear Port Charles apart. It is a gripping, emotional roller coaster, and I am right here with you, holding my breath, waiting to see if love and intuition can conquer the darkest shadows of the past.